What's going on, everyone? We are back for another off-season edition of the Bleed Loss podcast. Free agency is heating up around the league. Doc hits a milestone with the franchise, and could some beloved former Dodgers rejoin the team? All that and more coming up next. Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for joining us as we talk off-season news and rumors and just wait for a potential splash. Tonight, we've got Anthony in the house, producer Roger behind the scenes, and I am Drea. Before we get into everything, we want to make sure to tell you about DodgersBeat.com. Stay up to date and in the know with all of the latest and most comprehensive coverage of the LA Dodgers. It is your one-stop for articles, interviews, contests, merch, and more. Never miss a beat, and check out DodgersBeat.com. All right, Anthony, it is Thanksgiving Eve. So much to be grateful for in Dodger world this year. First off, though, how are you? And are you enjoying life free of baseball stress?
I am. I finally got to go to that festival I've been talking about for the past couple of days. Finally fully recovered from that as well, too. It's kind of weird to be at Dodger Stadium but not actually enter the stadium. Being out in the parking lot, watching some of my favorite musical acts. Shout out to all of them who performed. But yeah, it kind of was a weird feeling that I wasn't there to celebrate the Dodgers or watch them. I was there to watch music, but it also felt like I was kind of celebrating the Dodgers because every time I turned around, I saw the Dodgers sign, and I'm reminded of what happened this year where we went back to back. So it was a good time.
That's a good time. What a year it was. I think I've been to one, maybe two, I don't know, two concerts at Dodger Stadium in my lifetime. And it is a little bit of a weird feeling to be in that environment, but it's a whole different kind of gig. But yeah, I am kind of missing baseball. Some days I get up and I'm like, okay, the game, and there is no game. Are you feeling what I'm feeling? Kind of fiending for some baseball.
Yeah, a little bit, but like the off season, I kind of just use it as a mental like recharge. Just we've been talking about these guys since March. You probably a little bit earlier because I joined the channel a little bit later, but it just becomes such a drag and a drain, kind of going 162, just doing the same thing. So I kind of tend to enjoy the off season a little bit. There's a lot to do here in sunny Los Angeles. I know for Cody specifically, it's a long winter for him because he lives on the East Coast, but there's a lot of things to do, a lot of things to explore. So I kind of just I take it as is. Like I try to stay off social media. Right now, it's kind of hard to because like the stove is pretty hot, so I tend to lean towards that. But other than that, my normal day to day is kind of just like, okay, let's relax. Let's not try to think fully about the Dodgers all the time.
That's hard for me because I think about the Dodgers all the time. My break is usually with Lakers and Rams and football and other sports, but we'll get into all that later. But yeah, there are some things heating up. I love what you posted on social media the other day when you were talking about it is our time to be delusional and imagine things that probably may or may not happen. But a couple of really cool, interesting rumors that probably will never come true. Did you hear about the potential rejoining of old friends Bellinger and possibly Seager? How crazy is that? How delusional is that for them to come back?
It's very crazy. The Seager one specifically is the one that caught me off guard. Bellinger being a free agent, it makes a lot of sense. It's a necessity that we have in the outfield. Seager is the kind of the one where I kind of figured he would finish his career there in Texas. We'll see what the market says. They just traded Marcus Simeon, so we'll see if they're gonna keep Seager. I assume they will, just because Brandon Nimmo does make a lot of money, and it kind of just was a 1-for-1 trade. There was no other prospects involved, so that one I kind of feel is far fetched. The Bellinger one, I'm as the days go on, I'm starting to like feel like maybe there is some credence to that. Trent Grisham ended up picking up his option with the Yankees, so it kind of leads me to believe like maybe the door really is open. And I mean, I have this right here. I have this jersey right here. I would love to wear it again to Dodger Stadium. Right now, it kind of just sits in my collection. So I would love to see Cody Bellinger out there in the outfield. I think he's still very versatile, whether he plays center field or left field or right field, anywhere specifically. The one worry I have for him is, or not him specifically, but his contract. What terms does he want specifically? How
Mhm.
long does he want to play? I feel like this is his last chance to get a big money move. So I'm kind of interested to see like what really is he looking for? Does he really want to win, or does he really want a payday? And I wouldn't blame him if he wants a payday because ideally this is his last shot at getting a really really major payday. So we'll see where he's at mentally, and we'll see where he's at come when the winter meetings. I don't think he's going to sign until the winter meetings, so we'll see where we're at there.
Well, he's a Boris client, and those are always kind of like, topsy-turvy with the news that Boris tries to get out there ahead of his clients and kind of where he may or may not want them to get the best deal possible. But I think we just have to kind of address the hot takes or the hot news that we heard today with a couple of people that I'm kind of interested in seeing kind of how this all plays out. But did you hear the Rendon and the Cease news today?
Yeah, the Rendon one I heard first, just because I'm around a lot of. Well, I work in Anaheim, so I'm around a lot of Angel fans, and you would have thought they like legitimately won the World Series. Just how awful like that contract was for them. Like I have buddies who just kept complaining about him like constantly. It just became a constant theme during the baseball season. Like this dude's hurt again. This dude's hurt again. This dude's hurt again. We paid him all this money, and he only plays like 30 games a year. I know I'm being exaggerating that number, but I think a lot of Angel fans are happy that he's off the team. They're not necessarily happy that the way he retired was due to injury at this point, mental fatigue and all that. But I think looking back at it as well too, the Dodger fans should be thankful that we didn't go all in for him, because could you imagine if we would have paid him all this money and like now what? Like we spent all this money and he doesn't even play on the field. Does that impact if we sign Shohei or if we trade for Mookie Betts? I don't remember if we had Mookie Betts yet. I don't think we did. What happens with a scenario like Freddie Freeman, etc. So it's like a revolving door, basically. Like what happens if we go down the Anthony Rendon door? Like we don't get 2 World Series titles. We're not talking about potentially being a dynasty. We're kind of looking at the outside in, looking like, wow, these other teams like build from within, and then like, look, we're here saddled with this contract and we don't know what to do with it. I think the Dodgers might have eventually cut bait on him, but that's a hypothetical here. That's a scenario just made up. But yeah, that's kind of one of those where like it's a shame, because at one point he was really a really good third baseman. He was like an elite level third baseman, multi-time All-Star, etc. He single-handedly beat us in 2019 when he hit those home runs off Kershaw in that decisive Game 5. But yeah, it's a shame that his career is just basically over because of medically induced stuff like that. I hate to see that.
Yeah, I just feel like he is the definition of dodging a bullet, and you wouldn't have seen that if you kind of just judged him before, he got to the Angels. But I think even Kevin Pillar said it best on Foul Territory today when he was kind of analyzing the whole situation. I mean, he called it overdue. And that's really sad with someone of his talent level that it really just didn't pan out for them because I mean he was supposed to be such a big name, but I feel like the Dodgers really we came out on the top end of that because Mr. Anti Hollywood lifestyle was clearly not going to be a fit for LA. But the Cease news was interesting. He's going to be going to the Blue Jays on a 7-year, $210 million deal. And I kind of wanted just your to pick your brain a little bit about that because he's getting obviously now paid more than Blake Snell. And there's not consensus in Blue Jays land right now of was this like an overpay? Was this the right move? What is your take on Cease now going to the Blue Jays? Was that just kind of more like a change of pace may kind of do him well? What do you think?
I think yeah, I think it's more just I don't know exactly what happened in San Diego. Those past 2 years, it felt like this last year, just mentally, he was checked out. He just didn't know if he belonged on the team. There was talks of them even trading him at one point. So I don't know if like all that bad juju just got to him mentally to a point where he was like screw it, I'm checked out. Like let me just get to the end of the year healthy. I know I'm getting a big payday at the end of this year, so let me just try to put up as much numbers as I can, look as good as possible, and maybe someone trades for me or someone does end up paying me. The Blue Jays ended up paying them, and he slots in pretty well into that rotation. We just saw what Savage did. I know he was such a bright spot for them, but he's also very green, so we don't know exactly what he'll look like through a full season. You also have Kevin Gausman, who was a monster for them as well too, and the uncertainty of Max Scherzer as well too, another year older. Wasn't that good this year. Kind of held his own in the playoffs, but also wasn't like the Max Scherzer pass. Are you really going to trust him to kind of find the fountain of youth for one more year? So I like the move for the Blue Jays. I don't know if I'd pay him all that money, but this is kind of the going rate for free agency. Like someone always sets the value high for whatever position player you have, whether it's a starting pitcher, a closer like Tanner Scott did last year, or a shortstop or whatever. So I'm interested to see what guys like Scooble demand. I know that's kind of like the big talking point this offseason. Kind of, are the Tigers going to trade him? Are the Tigers going to pay him the money that he wants? I know there's a very big difference between the two parties. That's why the Dodgers are kind of lingering because we have all this young talent and potentially a trade could manifest itself. But I don't know. In the offseason, I kind of see it, the contracts kind of just get crazy and out of sorts. I feel like we should just cancel it. It's not fair that the Blue Jays get to spend all this money and the Dodgers haven't spent any money this offseason yet.
Right? I mean, they're ruining baseball, right? I
Yeah,
mean, get
I
this.
don't.
There's deferrals involved. So, I mean, should there be a cap now? I mean, it's not fair, right, Anthony?
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny just seeing like the overreaction is it's funny because like everyone has a big deal like, oh, deferrals, the Dodgers defer, but when another team does it, like it's not that big of a problem.
Right.
I don't know. I like the move. I think he still has a lot to offer. I don't know if he's going to be good for all 6 years, but I think in the short term, he'll be really solid for them for 2-3 years. And the Blue Jays, their window is now essentially because they have all this young talent. They were essentially 2 outs away from winning the whole damn thing. So I
Mhm.
feel like this is kind of a sign from the front office, like we're not done. I think they're going to go after Bichette. Well, he's their guy, and I think they're going to make a good offer for Tucker as well too, or maybe a Bellinger, someone in the outfield as well too. So I don't think the Blue Jays are done spending. I think this was just a start.
And if I was in their shoes, I probably would do the exact same thing because if they see what they have and they were like, just a hopscotch away from taking it all, they're going to go all in. And that's actually really good for baseball. So, on the flip side, I actually really do like this. I like other teams to act because I think it's going to make for an interesting season up ahead. But yeah, maybe just CC needed to get away from Machado. That's what I'm going to say. And it's going to do him well. So, that's all he needed. But yeah, let's talk a little bit of pitching because on some non tendering news because I really, wanted to just get your take on the Evan Phillips news. Obviously, he got non-tendered. He is a favorite, even though he really didn't see we didn't see his talents this year because he was, he had his Tommy John back on June 4th. But it's sad in one way, but from what I'm hearing, it's really not necessarily a goodbye Evan Phillips forever, right? There's a good chance that we could see him in Dodger Blue this season.
Yeah, it's very sad to see him go. But again, like you said, it's not necessarily a goodbye for now. I think there's interest on both sides to have a deal done. I think when the 60-day DL opens up or DL IL opens up, the Dodgers are going to sign both him and Kike and transfer them immediately to their injured list. I keep saying disabled list. But it's sad because he was one of our top guys for such a long period of time. And in the World Series last year, if I felt like he was going to be such a big player for us, and then he goes down with initially, I think it was called forearm tightness, or he had like a dead arm, and he thought it was something like, okay, maybe just like the offseason he'll be able to rehab, and unfortunately, he did have to go underneath the knife and get elbow surgery. And at the end of this World Series, he barely just started his throwing program, like barely early steps. So he still might be a while away, but for me, Evan Phillips is a guy that you have to have in this bullpen. I feel like he was the missing piece for us essentially last year in the bullpen, considering that most of the guys who came out and played a big part weren't even bullpen guys. They were starters just because we had the whole piggyback situation. And most of our top end guys we couldn't trust, whether that was Kirby Yates or Tanner Scott and Blake Trinan towards the end of their. So we'll see where Evan Phillips is at. I hope both sides come to a deal. I'm hoping it's kind of just like a, hey, we kind of have to make more roster moves before we consider you and look your way. Andrew Friedman also said that they're going to give the Phillips family enough time and they're not going to pressure them into making a decision if they feel like another team provides a better opportunity for them. So be it. Like I said, I'm thankful for his contributions and I'm hopeful that he's going to be continue contributing to this team.
Yeah, I really want to see strong pitching this year because although we had like just an absolute, killer starting rotation coming to the end of the season, being kind of just so unable to rely on the bullpen was definitely a source of anxiety for all of us. So hopefully that can get all fixed up this off season. Current roster number being 37, and I know Andrew Friedman and the front office are really going to have to be creative with how they kind of move some pieces around. Obviously, we can't hoard every arm that we have, and we have to be creative with how we use our pieces to make sure that we get the right outfield and the right bullpen guys in place. But let's talk a little bit about the guys who are in arbitration or potential arbitration talks. That includes Graterol, Banda, Brock Stewart, and Alex Call. We also are going to be seeing pitchers Gavin Stone and River Ryan returning this coming season. So kind of taking into everything that we saw last season and what we hope to see this season, what does the pitching landscape look like for you, taking all that into account?
Right now, it's kind of like it's weird because like we've talked about the Dodgers and like I wouldn't be surprised if two guys unfortunately end up in the IL just naturally just because our starting pitching, it feels like we have a lot, but as the season goes on we're looking around and like, well, who's going to start this game? It's kind of TBD for now. It might be a bullpen game, stuff like that. So right now we have an abundance, but I kind of want to see where we're at in between spring training, kind of seeing like, okay, Gavin Stone is progressing well from his rehab. I think essentially he's just waiting for pitchers and catchers to report to kind of ramp up. River Ryan is kind of probably be slow played just because it was an elbow injury and you don't want to like risk him re-injuring that, and now you lose him for even more longer time. So I wouldn't be surprised if he starts in AAA, kind of just getting his bearings underneath him, kind of how like Emmett Sheehan did this year. He kind of started in AAA, worked his way back up to the major league team, but they didn't really let him start games right away. He kind of was out the bullpen, and he was essentially the first guy where they experiment with the whole piggyback situation with Shohei, where Shohei was like, okay, today I'm only pitching 1 inning, today I'm only pitching 2 innings, and that first guy that usually was out the bullpen was Sheehan. Sheehan kind of was that was his role essentially for almost half the year. So we'll see where we're at, and then you guys got guys like in this rotation who I'm not even mentioning, like Sasaki's gonna have the chance to win an opening day job. Justin Robleski as well had a very, very solid end to his season. So right now it feels like we have a little bit too much starting pitching, but I kind of want to see how the season plays out, maybe even how spring training plays out. And if there's a potential for a trade to be made, I think some of these guys are going to be candidates to be traded, unfortunately, just because their talent is very high end, and a lot of teams are going to be interested in their services. And I think teams are going to be asking for both either Robleski or Sheehan just because they proved it and they're healthy right now. Gavin Stone was on his way to proving it, and then he got hurt. I would have loved to seen him finish out the year and kind of see where he was at in the playoffs and if the moment got too big for him or not. But I think he's also one of those guys who a lot of teams would covet. And I think River Ryan right now, the elbow injury might scare people off right now for the moment being. But if he comes back and he proves to be the guy, I know the sample size was only 3 games, and he looked like he was going to be like, whoa, this guy's like, who is this guy? Like, why did we have figure out that we just have an ace sitting in AAA or AA at this whole time? So I think teams are going to be interested in all these guys, but I think the Dodgers are also going to be smart and just not give them away for bagels and like apples and stuff like that. So I think they'll be wise with who they give away.
Yeah, I kind of think that there is a probability that Sheehan might be one of those ones because I mean, look at how incredible that he is. And now he has postseason experience that is really going to be coveted by other teams. I would love to keep him, but I do get it that it's a business. But yeah, talk to me about kind of how those would be used. Because considering the fact that we have many of the same starting pitchers that we had that got us through the postseason. We've got Yoshi, we've got Shohei, we've got Snell, we've got Glass now. And in all, I guess the intent would obviously be to get them to what, 20, 30, starts throughout the season. But do you think that they'll slow play them at the beginning again, kind of just hoping that we got to get them to October with the highest health possible and let a lot of these other younger guys take the bulk of the innings like in the early part of the season?
I think, yeah, there will be a slow play, but we just saw Yamamoto essentially make every start. I think they'll be safe and cautious with Shohei as well too, but I think those guys, even Sasaki, they're going to be on their regular 6 days of pitching cycles. So I don't think there'll be too much pressure on them. The other guys I'm more worried about are Tyler Glasnow. I feel like he was very, very good for us in the postseason, but I feel every time something acts up, like whether it's his cramps or some random like back injury or stuff like that, elbow fatigue, stuff like that. So I'm kind of feel like they'll kind of slow pay him, but these guys are all competitors. They're not going to want to be slow played. They're going to want to go out there and pitch 30 games, try to have 1.2 ERAs and stuff like that, and try to go for Cy Youngs. I think that's going to be the goal for a few of our starters next year, is to see if one of them can achieve the Cy Young. I know Yamamoto was in the top 3 voting here, and I feel like next year, well, this season that's coming up will be his Cy Young year. But I'm also I know the end goal for them is October and September, essentially. So it's weird to be like, I want you to be a Cy Young winner, but I also want you to be safe because I want you to pitch in the most important games, which are in late September and October. Because if we're going to do what we're going to do the past 2 seasons, which is go deep, we played into November this season, November 1st. So
Right.
it's going to be a long haul. So if we need you to skip one start, maybe even like shut you down for like 2 weeks just to give you like a little bit of breather, then I think that's what they'll end up doing. But they're also not gonna just like saddle them in and like be like, oh, we're just gonna keep you here for like an extended period of time unless they're really significantly injured. That's the only time I'll see like, okay, they're slow playing them.
I remember when Snell signed with us about a year ago, he had said something about wanting to be the workhorse. So I get the feeling that, he's going to want to come out and do something similar to what Yamamoto did, which is go the season, go the length and really show out because I mean, they all seem like just such, they're competitors. They compete with each other, whether they say it out loud or not. They want to just kind of, push themselves to what their max potential is, and that's good for us. But at the same time, the only thing that really does matter to the Dodgers at the end of the day is, the postseason. So we'll see how that plays out. But one piece of big news that came up this week, and I could not wait to talk to you about it. I'm sure you heard about the front office of the Dodgers are two big pieces. Andrew Friedman and Farhan Zaidi are now going to be taking on advisory roles with our team, Anthony, the LA Lakers. You and I have talked quite a bit about how much we love our LA Lakers. And this is part of the ownership transition from the Buss family to Mark Walter. It's not news. We already knew that Mark Walter had purchased Lakers, and there was likely to be changes, unless there always are when there's management, shifts. But I really wanted to kind of get your take on kind of how this is now playing out and how you think it could also benefit the Lakers.
Yeah, for me, I love it. You can't have enough smart people in the room, and I feel like this is what it is. Now, do I think Andrew Freeman is going to be making big Laker decisions as the general manager? No, I don't think that. I think him and Farhan's role are basically like coming into the front office of the Lakers and whatever staffs they have and being like, hey, like, we're the Dodger guys. Like, this is how we run things over here. This is how we draft guys. This is how we develop them through the minor leagues. This is how we bring them up. This is how we develop them as players, how we develop them as men off the field, on the court, stuff like that. And I feel like it's just kind of like a way to kind of ease the transition. I didn't think it was going to happen though this soon, like in the middle of the Lakers season. I know it's still very young. I thought this was kind of going to be an off-season thing, but thinking about it now, it does make sense because normally the Dodgers or the Lakers off-season is the Dodgers season, so this does make perfect sense. This is technically the off-season for the Dodgers front office, even though they're working behind the scenes trying to make roster moves and all that. But yeah, I took it kind of as like, yeah, this is normal. This happens in all sorts of businesses, like you said. If some rich guy if I'm the owner of a bagel shop and the rich guy buys me out, he has the liberty of doing whatever he wants with management. He's gonna bring in his own people that he trusts. He's gonna bring in people that he knows are gonna run his system and his business effectively. So I took it as that basically. So I think it's kind of putting the Lakers on notice. And I've said it before, they've run their operation more like a mom and pop shop. That's why I'm using bagels as references, because I feel like for a while, the Lakers are such a global franchise. I think you put the logo up and a lot of people will name you 10 players immediately. Like, oh, that's where Kobe played. Oh, that's where Shaq played. Oh, that's where LeBron played. That's where Magic played, so on and so forth. So I feel like you lose such a global name with the way you perform over the years. Like, I know they won in 2020, but before that, they had only won in 2010. I know they went back to back, but there was a 10-year gap where they were awful. And now they're trying to kind of regain that edge and kind of solidify themselves as a top NBA dynasty again. But they can look very well at the Lakers, or not the Lakers model, the Dodgers model. The Dodgers were basically awful throughout those early 2000 teams. I know they made the playoffs, but they were never really considered a threat to actually win the whole World Series. And now you have this switch into management with the whole Guggenheim ownership and all that, and you kind of see that develop slowly. The early 2010s, they're like, okay, they're good, but they're still not good enough. Then you start making the playoffs. You're like, oh, wow, like they're making the playoffs consistently. Then you finally break through and you make the World Series in 2017, and now you got the attention of everyone in Major League Baseball. Like, wow, the Dodgers finally broke through. Unfortunately, you don't win it, but now you solidified yourself. You're like, you solidified that credence of like, yeah, these guys belong here. They went to Game 7 of the World Series, and then you make the World Series again in 2018. So it's kind of just like little stepping stones, little building blocks to try to be who you're supposed to be. The Lakers are always supposed to be the number one franchise in basketball. I know a lot of people argue, well, that's the Celtics, but I'm a Los Angeles native. I am not going to put a Boston team number one. The Lakers are supposed to be number one, similar to how the Dodgers are trying to get number one. And I think they've done a really good job of being number one now.
Sure.
I think everyone in Major League Baseball is chasing the Dodgers now.
100%. And kind of like the thinking that Mark Walter has been associated with the Dodgers for a long time, but it wasn't like it was just an overnight, like snap your fingers and the Dodgers are winners, like you just said. There was a plan that was put in place, and we're seeing the fruition of that plan right now with the Dodgers. So the conversation that kind of came up in my household was that could the fact that we have two Dodgers executives going into the Lakers organization, and obviously they're completely different sports. It's completely different ways that you have to kind of set your mind to draft and really think about the players that you put in place. But at the end of the day, the model stays the same, right? It's not stepping on Rob Pelinka's toes. It's really looking at how the Dodgers have possibly going from data driven to data informed. You're really knowing when to trust your gut and what the smarts are behind the model of Andrew Friedman, and really just applying that to the Lakers, right?
Yeah, it's and Dave Roberts is like the perfect example of this. I think he's at the very, very start. I think as a new manager, you kind of don't want to like rub people the wrong way, so you have to get kind of comfortable in your own skin. You kind of have to ditch that imposter syndrome. I think early on for him, probably there was like a lot of people probably thought, oh, he's too buddy with his players, like he's not really getting on to them. But like that's all because we see it on TV. We're not behind the scenes. We don't see what's going on in the clubhouse. We don't see what's going on the day to day travel when they're in a different city, and etc. stuff like that. And I feel like as the relationship has grown, you can see it now. Like these guys will go to war for Dave Roberts. They will fight to the very bitter end, basically. And guys like Miguel Rojas, who come in as a veteran, have the respect for Dave Roberts. Like, no, this guy, yeah, this is someone I want to play for. Dave reciprocates that respect and goes up to him like, hey, I need you for game 6 and 7. And he provides several big moments throughout that last couple games there where we ended up winning world championships. So, and I could list the very other big moments as well, too, like leaving Blake Trinan in to kind of get Giancarlo Stanton and Anthony Rizzo out in the last playoff run we had against the Yankees. So I feel like this is kind of a good stepping stone. You kind of want to show like, yeah, we're very data driven. Like we have analytics and stuff like that. We know exactly like certain things about the way Mookie hits or stuff like that. But we also built a relationship with our players. We're data driven, but like if I feel like Freddie Freeman has a good chance of getting a hit here against this guy, I'm gonna leave Freddie Freeman in this game because I trust him. That's my guy. I know what he does. I see him work hard every day. He does the same routine when he gets here, and he's I forget what year he's in, but he doesn't have to do that as a future Hall of Famer, but he's still putting in the work like he's not a future Hall of Famer. So it's kind of just building that trust in your organization.
I mean, it's a perfect example of what we were just talking about earlier. Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts and Shohei Ohtani, they train and they practice and they prepare as though they are not the ultimate superstars that they are. So like anti Anthony Rendon, am I right?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but
it's funny because Shohei's last Instagram post, he thanks the fans and he announces he's going to play for Team Japan. But he also said, I'll train hard. And I'm like, all right, bro, like year 1, 50-50 season, MVP, World Series. Year 2, I can't even like begin to say like how many home runs you hit, but I just remember instantly the Ohtani game in an NLCS closeout, like multiple just ridiculous performances, and you're following it up with like I'll train hard. Like you're insane, man. You're crazy. But like this is kind of the thing that fuels teams because you have a superstar, a global superstar who's still training hard, like he has to prove something. When we just saw like 2 of the back-to-back greatest seasons possibly ever.
right? I mean, he's like, don't worry, you won't be disappointed, bro. There's no one that's ever going to be able to be compared. But I like that what you kind of were bringing up about Dave Roberts, because you probably saw the news just this week. It was his 10-year anniversary with us with the Dodgers, and I mean, you're talking about one of like just a decade of dominance. He's an MLB best with 944 wins, 575 losses in terms of a manager's winning record. 9 NL West titles, 5 NL pennants, 3-time World Series championships, should be 4. Story for another day. And 2016 Manager of the Year should probably be way more times than that, but that is not what matters the most, probably to him. And he, if you probably saw, he went to Japan this past week for like kind of like a victory, kind of like celebration tour, media presser, where he went back to his hometown in Okinawa and really just kind of, celebrated what just happened with the Dodgers. And he had the greatest quote. I want to read it to you. You probably saw it, but he said about kind of like as far as his relationship with his players. For me, quote, for me, when you manage a team and manage players, the most important thing is to let the players know I care about them. I believe in the saying, players don't care what you know until they know you care. Then he goes on to say, quote, they have to know I am with them. Your thoughts on that?
I love it. The first thing that came to mind too was like, damn, it's been 10 years since we've signed him. So Dodger managers in my lifetime: Jim Tracy, Joe Torre, Don Mattingly, Dave Roberts, and by far, I know Joe Torre was a legendary manager, but that was with the Yankees, not with us. Dave Roberts by far is like my manager of basically my Dodger lifetime. He's brought me 3 world championships, a lot of great memories and stuff like that. I know early on I was one of his detractors just because I was like, this guy is too focused on the data, too focused on the analytics and stuff like that. But I think as over time, as he grew comfortable in his own skin as a manager, you saw like, no, this guy's actually a really, really good manager. Like, it's just, yeah, sometimes like, I think we said it best, like the weight of not winning a world championship kind of was like, not even killing him, but like the team, essentially, like the fans. It felt like every year we would get to the playoffs, we'd be excited, we got our little rally towels up in the air, we fill out Dodger Stadium, and what ends up happening, we fall flat on our face. And I think making the World Series in 2017, even though we lost it, kind of showed to us like we can get here, we can get here. And before that, like, I know I'm dating myself here, but like I had never seen them even make the World Series. So like when we first played in that opening game, game 1 again, and Chris Taylor had the home run, like I celebrated that like crazy because I'm like, this is insane. Like my team is in the World Series, we just hit a home run, and like so I always feel like that was the moment for a lot of Dodger fans, a new generation of Dodger fans. I'm talking about the people who don't remember '88 because I wasn't alive for '88, so I feel like kind of was a moment for us, like, we can get here. Like, we got over the hump. We made it to the World Series. We're here. Unfortunately, we didn't end up winning, but I think it's more sweeter now that we got back to back. But for Dave, I feel it was kind of vindication for him when he finally broke through in 2020. He proved the haters wrong, even though they continue to hate and say like, oh, it's your little bubble ring, your little Mickey Mouse ring. But I mean, Walker Buehler said it best. Like, what are they gonna say now? We're back-to-back champions, and I feel like for Dave, I feel like the saddest thing for him is that he only has 1 Manager of the Year, but I think at the very end of it, he could care less because now he has 3 rings. It's not even including the one he won as a player as well too. So I think for him, he's trying to collect as much championship rings. I don't think he cares for Manager of the Year anywhere. I think those guys are haters anyway, and they're not going to give him the Manager of the Year because they're going to say, oh, he has a big payroll, he has all these superstars. What is he really doing? But for me, he'll always be my Dodger manager.
Always. I mean, haters are going to hate. They can argue with the wall. But one thing that really got me as far as the Dave Roberts situation, because I was looking at it this week and people were chatting about it. Do you remember the day before we played game 6 and 7 of the World Series? And I mean, in all honesty, it doesn't look good. The Blue Jays were incredible. They were likely going to take probably one of those games and walk away with it. But he, on that off day, they were in Toronto, he decided to go ahead and have a little bit of a race with Hassan Kim, face planted, lightened up the mood of the whole team. You heard Freddie laughing in the back saying this is what we needed. You heard just some kind of like almost like a weight lifted if you kind of just kind of go back and rewatch the footage. It may have seemed random or organic, but do you think Dave Roberts knew what he was doing and that's what the team needed at that moment?
I think so. You could tell that 18-inning game now in retrospect really took a lot of energy out of the team. Kirsch said it best. We have a bunch of old guys on this team, and like you could tell like it was kind of just a slog the next 2 days. But yeah, I think it can work both ways, and it gladly worked in our favor. I think the guys were just super tense. It doesn't help that all the talk and the stuff you see in social media, like, oh, like you had 2 games at home, like you blew it, basically, like it was basically going to be the Blue Jays coronation. And it almost was. We were, again, 2 outs away from not even winning the whole thing. But it's kind of one of those like lighthearted moments, and like people were kind of again bashing him in the comments, like, oh, like why are you like not taking it seriously, and then you're not practicing. But again, like this is like we only saw a 30-second clip. We didn't see the whole entire practice. We didn't see like how long were they were in there, like what guys were doing in the clubhouse, getting stretched, watching film. We saw 30 seconds, and like in those 30 seconds, we were entertained. That's about it. That's but I think people like there's a problem is social media, because social media will see that and be like, or they'll see like Mookie drop a podcast and be like, oh, this guy's not focused. Do we really think Mookie is like behind the scenes editing all that stuff, or like making the graphics for his own podcast? No, he has a team. He films, he records. It takes like an hour a day to do the podcast. Then he's back home and he's working on film or hanging out with his kids and stuff like that. So I think a lot of athletes get a lot of shtick because a lot of people see what they post on social media and be like, oh, he's not focused on winning and stuff like that. But again, it only took him like 30 seconds to post that, or 30 seconds to make that clip. So I don't know. I think I liked it when I saw it. I was like, oh, the guys are keeping it light at least. Like, I know the moment's pretty tense. Like, we have our backs against the wall, but at least they're keeping it lighthearted right now.
I like that because I think that that's something that you can't quantify with any kind of numbers and stats and analytics. It's just something that he has a feel for his team and he knows what they need. And you can see it. I've only been around Dave Roberts twice briefly in my life, but each time I have seen just the way that he is so genuine with people, just people he's meeting, talking to. It makes you feel like you're the only person he's focused on. And if he's like that with people he barely knows, I can only imagine how he makes the people that are his players feel in the clubhouse. And I just don't think you can put any kind of price on that. And that we're so lucky to have him. But yeah, a little more news as we travel down. Just some really cool things that got announced this week. Let's go with Shohei for a second. No surprise here. He officially announces, and we talked about it earlier, that he's going to be a part of the WBC for Team Japan. We love the WBC. We talk about it, and it's getting closer. Very excited. I don't think it's completely determined whether he'll be, hitting, pitching, little both, whatever that is, whatever that's going to look like. We don't know. But yeah, we also have a pretty stacked Team USA. But what do you think now of the fact that, yeah, Shohei is officially on Team Japan? And do you think that with the roster that we're going to put up with in USA, that we have a chance to actually take them down this year?
Yeah, I think both him and Yoshi, it's kind of, well, Yoshi hasn't announced anything yet, but they have the opportunity to do something very, very cool and very unique. Back-to-back World Series champions and back-to-back WBC champions. I'm pretty sure there's no one else who's done it, just because the WBC hasn't been around that long. So I'm kind of excited. We'll see if he does both. I have a feeling he will be doing both. Now, to the extent of pitching, that might be a different thing. I can see him kind of maybe pitching in the early rounds, and then like when it gets to the knockout stage, it kind of dependent on who's available. So we'll see where he's at there. Yoshi and Roki, kind of two big different stories. We'll see if Roki even goes. I think he might want to focus on getting a job here in spring training. Yoshi's also kind of up in the air, but I wouldn't be surprised if like he says like, yeah, I'll go pitch, because I believe they're playing their what's it called, their tournament games in Japan, and then when they advance, spoiler alert, Team Japan will be advancing to the knockout rounds. They travel back over here towards the U.S. So I kind of figure maybe they play in Japan, kind of give the hometown crowd some love, and then when they travel back for the knockout rounds, they'll be like, okay, we're gonna go play with the Dodgers for spring training or something like that. But I don't know. It's yet to be seen. I'm excited for a lot of WBC. I'm excited for Team Mexico. I'm going to be rooting for Team Mexico. I'm very, very scared for them, though, because last year I had zero expectations for them. And they were basically the Blue Jays. They were 2 outs away from beating Team Japan, getting to the final and facing the U.S. And there's this guy who plays for Team Japan who I wasn't aware of his talents. His name is Shohei Ohtani, and he basically went full Shohei Ohtani and single-handedly won that game for Team Japan. So I don't know. I was kind of heartbroken in the moment, but if you would have told me like a year later, hey, this guy's going to sign for your favorite team and he's going to bring you 2 world championships, I would have been like, all right, it's a fair trade-off. But yeah, the WBC, it's such a unique thing because a lot of these guys treat it like their World Series, and the pride of representing your country, whether you're from the Dominican Republic, you're from Venezuela, you're from Japan, you're from USA, you're from Mexico, so be it Brazil. I think it's even in this WBC format as well. These guys treat it with so much pride because they're very proud men of where they've come. Like a lot of their stories are based on, yes, I was born in Venezuela, I was born in Dominican, I come from nothing, and I've made it to the major leagues, and now I have the opportunity to wear these colors with pride and kind of show the younger kids who are still out there who are trying to chase these major league dreams, like, yes, it's possible to compete at the very highest level. Like, yeah, I know it's very hard, but look at me, this is where I came from, this is who I am, stuff like that. So that's what I'm most excited for, and I hope all the guys that end up playing for the Dodgers, at least, like, I know Freddie might do it, Mookie is still kind of up in the air. I hope they represent themselves well. I hope they represent their countries, individual countries, well, and more importantly, they represent the Dodgers organization well as well too.
And you might still be going, right? Because we got to be filming shows right after. I don't care what time of night it is. We have to talk about it. Are you still planning to go?
Yeah, hopefully the plan is, I believe Team Mexico and Team USA will be having their group games in Houston. So I hopefully tickets allegedly for pre-sale will be going like on in December, I think late December. So the goal is to be out there for a few games for a weekend maybe, and like see how experience it. I've been to regular season games. I've been to playoff games. I've been to games on the road. So a WBC type game would kind of be, I think it'd be a crazy experience just because like you see it in the stands, like people are very, very passionate about their teams and stuff like that. So I'm excited. So hopefully the stars align and I'll be in Houston in March.
Oh, Cal, you have to bring me back something. I'm gonna sell you some money. I want some merch
Yeah, I
for
got you.
sure. But yeah, we definitely want to kind of move right along into some fun news. Some of our players, I guess it's wedding season also in Dodger world and MLB world. We want to definitely acknowledge that you saw Lux got married. That was kind of cool. Freddie's doing the worm again. Is he going to end up on the IL? If he does the worm too much?
I hope
You
not.
worried?
I hope they incorporate that celebration somehow. Like even if it's like for walk-offs only, just like. But I think the Dodgers might be like, all right, let's shut it down after the first time. Yeah, but it's such a unique. Freddie Freeman do. I think I've heard before that he's done it and like the Braves shut it down, but I never actually saw a video of it until actually these weddings. I'm like, that's insane. Like Freeman gets pretty high doing the worm.
Yes. Yeah, his wife said he gets air, but yeah, the Braves put a kibosh, and I think they were worried about their star first baseman. But yeah, it's definitely entertaining to watch. At first, I thought this has to be AI. This can't be real. Then you sent the videos, and they were hilarious and real. But yeah, we definitely also want to acknowledge that Tyler Glasnow got married, which is really awesome. And we had, I guess, 2 engagements, right? We had Dalton Rushing and Jack Dreyer. So congratulations to them. So some fun times in our Dodger team, but now some fun stuff, Anthony, because tomorrow is one of my favorite holidays. I don't know if how much you love Thanksgiving, but it also is also known in our household as football day. So we watch a lot of football. I know you and I are football fans, but tell me your plans for Thanksgiving, and do you love football as much as I do on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I think Thanksgiving this year is going to be a little bit more relaxed compared to prior years. Yeah, I do end up watching a lot of football. End up talking a lot of football. Don't really play football here just because we don't have a local park nearby, and a lot of us up here are kind of pushing 30. So we don't want to risk unnecessary injury. And how do you explain that to your boss? Like, hey, why are you limping into work? Well, I got hurt in our family turkey bowl. But yeah, for me, football is kind of significant. The Steelers, I don't think played much. I think the last time they played was against the Colts, if I'm even mistaken. But I do enjoy the traditional like cowboy game, and I hope they end up losing like they always do. But yeah, football is very big. We do a lot of traditional stuff here as well too. The beauty of being from multicultural family is that you get to experience a variety of things. So I used to go to two families, but now we kind of just mixed into one. But as we talk about it, there is some like traditional things we do. Like we're very like, okay, we'll have turkey, we'll have ham, we'll have corn, we'll have mashed potatoes, etc. But then there's some like unique like cultural things, like at least on my Salvadorian side, that we do that I think it's a lot of people will kind of look at us and be like, "You guys really do this?" But like, yeah, it's something we do. It's something I've grown up on, but it's very awesome this time of year, especially Christmas time as well.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I love this time of year. Do you have like a favorite dish or unique dish that your family serves?
Yeah, so it's in Spanish. It's called pan con pavo. It's basically a turkey sandwich, but it's not really. So
Mhm.
that's what we have on my Salvadorian side. When I first because when you're going through school, you're taught you have turkey, you have ham, you have mashed potatoes. And I think as I got older, maybe towards like 7, 8 years old, I started asking like, well, I don't see any turkey and I don't see any ham and I don't see any mashed potatoes. And that's when like it was either my grandma or my pops. He was like, no, what we do here is called pan con pavo, and it's essentially a turkey sandwich. So you take your regular bolillo, which is your bread, and you cut it. You put mayonnaise, you put not ketchup, mustard on it, and then you take all sorts of verduras, which is essentially um, your all sorts of your vegetables. Basically, my bad. I had a brain fart there for a second. Then you put the turkey on top, and then you put the turkey sauce on it, and it's like a turkey sandwich. But it's such a unique thing that a lot of people probably will look at you like, "Why are you having a turkey sandwich as your Thanksgiving meal?" Because like on my Mexican side, we do a very more traditional kind of like turkey. We'll do ham and stuff like that. We go crazier when it's like New Year's and it's Christmas. That's kind of where we do it. And I think kind of as a lot of people have gotten older, they've kind of been like, oh, let's just kind of like slow play. Let's just have a regular turkey and a regular ham and like some corn and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's weird that my favorite traditional dish is a turkey sandwich, but it kind of is.
I like it. I mean, I have to say that we're pretty traditional here at this house. There's nothing too extreme, but this year my sister's hosting and she makes a killer mac and cheese. Last year she calls me up and is like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna make my mac and cheese from scratch. It's really good." I'm like, "That's cool. That's awesome." And Anthony, it's life changing. Okay, let me just let you know that right now. And so the first thing and only thing I asked her this year is you need to make that again, and that is going to be the thing I look forward to the most tomorrow at her place. But yeah, we watched the dog show. I know that that's probably not like the most exciting thing in the world, but right after the dog show, we go right into football. Your Steelers, you said they don't play tomorrow. They're playing the Bills this week, yes?
Yeah, we're playing the Bills, and this is why like I love football, but like the Steelers to me should be like we had this discussion about the Lakers. They should be one of those franchises. Like when you think the NFL, like yeah, I think of the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I feel like I've been seeing the same season for the past like 6, 7 years, and I don't know if it'll ever change. But yeah, it's kind of better if my teams don't play on big holidays. I know the Lakers are usually the Christmas game, but
Mhm.
I rather like not end up being like that guy who's like steaming because like my team ended up losing in some catastrophic way. There's been a few holidays where a few fans have gone a little bit too far. Like, okay, like it's a game. Like let's move on and let's just try to spend time together as a family. But I don't know. Tomorrow, tomorrow I won't be as stressed about the Steelers. I can watch some football and kind of just enjoy what happens.
Now, I know I have no shot of recruiting you over, but you're always welcome to root for the Rams if you ever want to and join my side. But if my Rams should ever go down, I will actually root for the Steelers because, fun fact, my dad is actually a Steelers fan. So every time I check the score, I'm like, yay, go Anthony when they win. So we're going to just go for Rams and Steelers. But yeah, we'll wish them luck on Sunday. But yeah, I have to ask you, did you see the MLB post that had all these fun little tables? I think it was 6 tables in all of all these like kind of random baseball players mixed with all these other pop culture stars, and asked what table would you like to sit at. I think we'll have to get the graphic on the screen. Did you think that was hilarious? And what table would you sit at if you were to pick?
See, I thought about it, and I was between table 1 and 3, and I think I'm gonna join table 3 just because it's such an interesting like group. It's Cal Raleigh, it's Kevin Jonas, it's the Rizzler, it's Stephen A. Smith, and it's the Pope. It's like such a weird. I wouldn't think of those people sharing a Thanksgiving meal, and like I, it's so funny because like I don't know who would be holding the conversation. Like I think I would be enamored in like what the Pope has to say, but then I would also be interested into like what the Rizzler would have to say, even though he's like a 9-year-old, but he's very popular. And I think like the two quietest dudes at the table might be Cal Raleigh and Kevin Jonas for
Yeah.
whatever reason. But I don't know. It's such a weird graphic. It's like a weird combination of people. Like table 1, it's Hello Kitty in like a San Francisco Giants outfit. It's Machine Gun Kelly. It's Shohei. It's the dog from the Sandlot. I'm forgetting his name. Hercules. There you go. And it's
Hercules. Yeah.
Strider. It's such a weird combination of
Such a
people.
weird
So
combo.
Yeah, I wouldn't like when I think of Thanksgiving dinner. I wouldn't think like those 5 people or even the dog. Well, I guess the dog because Shohei loves dogs, so I can that kind of makes sense. But I think I'm leaning towards table three, just because I could say I met a Jonas brother and met the Pope as well too.
I don't associate you and the Jonas Brothers at all, but that's hilarious. And that would be a really good table. It actually was my table. And I think Pete Crow Armstrong and Corbin Carroll also said today on the MLB site that that was actually their table too, mostly because Stephen A. Smith, I just need to put him in his place. I do, on occasion watch stuff and I just rarely agree with a lot of the things that he says and he just needs to be shut down. But the Pope, I actually really do love him. I'm a huge baseball fan. We know that from Chicago. And I really do think there was a little bit of divine intervention during the World Series. And you know how I think our the archdiocese, they sent some representatives over to Rome to ask the Pope, hey, pray for us. He's holding up Dodger gear the week of the World Series. And guess what? He may have actually done it. So mostly
Yeah,
just to say thank you, because who knows how, if Dodgers Jesus up above really came through for us. And that was, thanks to the Pope. So we'll see. I don't know.
yeah.
I'll ask when I get there. But yeah, that was super fun. And I have to just ask you this one final question about Thanksgiving, because if you could invite any Dodger to be at your Thanksgiving table and any non-Dodger, like maybe an MLB player, who would you invite to Thanksgiving dinner at your house?
Before I answer that, I'm gonna finish up. I would have so many questions for the Pope. Like, why did you pick the White Sox? I would like just nerd out about baseball, like, and like, even though I am Catholic, but I would just completely nerd out with baseball because that clip of him being in the crowd for the World Series of the Chicago when the White Sox were in is such an insane pull. Where like I would just like talk about the White Sox basically, even though I don't follow the White Sox, but I would
Like, why?
be interested into like know like okay, how did you become a fan, like all this and that, and then I would go into like His Holiness and all that. But yeah, that's such an insane thing. But to answer your question, I think the easiest one for me, who I would current Dodger, I would love to have. I think Max Muncy can throw down in the kitchen. I think
Oh, that's a good
kind of
one.
underrated. The other one that came to mind too was kind of Freddie Freeman because in that clip of them in the All-Star game, he kind of jokes like, "Yeah, I like the very good wine. I'm very bougie, essentially. Like he likes all the very good stuff." So
Like it.
those two guys, my corner guys, I kind of would lean towards them.
Mm.
And then or the extra
Non.
baseball player,
Yeah.
it's cheating. It's cheating because he's technically not a Dodger anymore. He
Yeah.
once was. Jack Flaherty, I think,
I
would
love
be an
him.
awesome time to go out with. Just
Him.
basing this off his performance in the 2024 parade celebration. He was just at the Laker game yesterday with Mookie Betts, so
Yeah, I was
I feel like if I want to go to all the hot spots in LA and like
out
I don't
there.
have to wait in line or get turned out the door, I think if I just hung out with Jack Flaherty, I think it'd be a great time.
It would be a great time. He's actually one of my favorite Dodgers that just came, did his thing, and left. I would love to see him back in Dodger blue one day. Probably unlikely, but I actually love me some Jack Flaherty. Actually, I would pick if I could have a Dodger come over to my house. It would actually be Tyler Glasnow. And
Mm.
I just think, even if he says the most just, kind of, huh, like boring thing coming out of his mouth, it's hilarious. I just love the way he talks. I love the way he expresses himself. I just think he'd be a really cool dinner guest just to get his stories. And he's from the area. He's actually a local boy. Kind of grew up nearby where I grew up. So I just would like to get to know him a little bit better. That would be kind of fun. But yeah, I actually have to say you picked my person. You didn't even realize you were doing that, but Jack Flaherty would be really cool to have over and then go out with after and just hit all the hot spots and just
Yeah.
remember how to have fun in life no matter how old you get. Love it. So yeah, that actually closes it up for me. Very exciting talk because we normally don't get to talk about all this stuff when it's the craziness of the season. But yeah, just go ahead and tell us any of your final thoughts as we get ready to enjoy the rest of the week.
Yeah, you know who else just came to mind?
Hmm.
Former Dodger. I think Andre Ethier would know the places to like many
Ooh,
restaurants. That was his thing when he was a
good.
Dodgers, like all the restaurants that Andre Ethier was out at. So I think he would be very sneaky underrated. He knows
Yeah.
all the spots in LA. But final thoughts. I'm happy. Thanksgiving is a great time to spend with family. As a Dodger fan, there's a lot to be thankful for. Back-to-back World Championships. It looks like we'll be celebrating a lot more in the future. So I'm just excited. So I hope everyone has a safe and healthy holiday.
Yeah, and definitely want to give a shout out to Cody and his family. He's kind of doing his family thing tonight, but will be definitely joining us in the near future. But in the meantime, between now and the next time that we record, definitely don't forget to check out DodgersBeat.com. Check out his Substack. Make sure to read his articles along with Steve Webb, and then of course check out our Bleed Those podcast network for all of the latest news, any kind of Dodger events and footage. Our wonderful producer Roger makes sure to get that for everyone, so you can check that out until the next big thing happens. Don't forget to check out our handles. You can find Anthony on X and Instagram at Anthony Acosta _, and you can find me, Drea, on X and Instagram at Being Queen 1958. And until, I want to just make sure to wish a happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Thank you for all of the support throughout the month of October and into November. And we're wishing everyone a happy Thanksgiving with you and your families. And until next time, let's go Dodgers.